Hello and welcome back again to another episode of Fact vs Fiction. I'm Archis and on the show with me as usual is Muhammad. Friends, this is a show where we kind of separate the myths from the facts and present you a clean picture of reality, and today we're going to talk about the myth of the Indian passport. We're going to talk about the strength of the Indian passport, to be exact. Very recently at the Howdy Modi event in Texas, our Prime Minister Narendra Modi made a claim. And he said that the Indian passport has gotten stronger and the value and the strength of the passport has increased. He also said that the Indian passport now has more respect than before. And well, the true story though, the reality of the Indian passport, we got down to a report called the Henry Passport Index, and the annual report stated something else. And when we compared the status of the Indian passport over the last 4 or 5 years, we found a completely different picture. Muhammad, could you enlighten us on that?
Sure. So let's look at the good news first. The good news is that our passport is by far the strongest in South Asia when compared to our neighbors. When we pit our passport against Sri Lanka, Bhutan, Nepal, and Pakistan, what we see is we are the strongest. But here's the bad news. The bad news is that year on year, since 2017, our passport has actually fallen. Last year, the rank according to the Henley Passport Index was at 81, and this year it has fallen to 82. And this is actually a steep drop from what it was in 2015, where our passport was actually really strong and we could visit around 88 countries without needing any sort of pre-departure visa approval. So that's a huge fall, and that really doesn't gel well with what Prime Minister Narendra Modi has said at Howdy Modi quite recently.
Well, a little correction. Actually, it's the 88 was actually the ranking, which was in 2015 to 2017.
Right.
The ranking has kind of increased since 2017, but if you compare from 2014, the ranking has dropped. This is despite the number of destinations that we can visit has gone up. But compared to all the other countries and all the leeways they have been getting in terms of free visa, like arrival without visas, prior visas, we haven't been doing that well. And Muhammad, can you throw a bit light on the top countries that exist right now?
So the top countries that you can have, that you can actually have a passport of is Singapore and South Korea, and these are really strong. Imagine walking into 189 countries and with no visa restrictions, no sort of pre-departure visa approvals, and you can just walk in. Now the myth around having a US passport and a UK passport or a Canadian passport is actually not that much, because they are the 6th most powerful passport in the world, and there are much more powerful passports. So if you have a Singaporean or a South Korean or a German passport, you're much more better off.
And the other South Asian countries, how do they fare?
So the South Asian countries, like we spoke of earlier, the Sri Lankan passport is the closest that we get to the Indian passport. This is followed by the Bangladeshi, the Nepali, and the Pakistani passport.
So basically, even though we are the strongest passport in the subcontinent, we're not doing very well. Even according to our own standards, we have dropped as compared to what it was in the past.
Right.
So it is a little bit of a myth that our passport has increased in value over the years. It hasn't actually. And friends, if you see any more myths going on or about the Indian passport, do send it over to our WhatsApp helpline number. We've got all the data here and we can compare it and tell you the reality of it. Thank you for watching this episode. Have a good day.